Is it just me overthinking, or not? I rescued a woman being bothered by a guy, and she said that to me. Confused by her words, I looked at her, and she came closer with an alluring upward glance. Having never been popular and leading an ordinary life, my heart raced. And then, she slowly revealed that to me. My name's Brian. Just a regular 28-year-old office worker. I'm not on the fast track to climb the ladder in my job. I'm in a kind of general duties role, but I've never felt unhappy about that. I earn a decent wage and want to continue this peaceful life. I basically don't turn down tasks given to me. During work hours, be it errands or supporting colleagues, I'm up for anything. Thanks to this, I have a great relationship with my coworkers. Though I am often asked to do errands, I take them willingly, and I sometimes get help in return. It's a genuinely good workplace. But now, a major issue has arisen. It was a single comment from the boss. Brian, ever thought of going on a blind date? Our company is small, and the boss, who worked his way up, values communication with us employees. I often chat with him and sometimes even seek work advice. This same boss, grinning, proposed a blind date to me. I've never thought about that. Considering your age, it's about time to think about marriage, right? I have a good match for you. I never imagined a blind date offer coming my way. There are plenty of employees in their 20s and 30s. Why me, who is just doing his ordinary tasks? Seeing the question on my face, the boss shared more information about this date. Turns out, she's the daughter of one of our clients. Wait, then more reason for someone like me to be mismatched. Learning she's a CEO's daughter, I decided to decline immediately. No, she specifically requested you. I asked how she got to know about you, but she only told me that she wants to meet and discuss it with you directly. I'd never spoken to or seen this young lady. From what the boss said, her name's Lily, 24. She's working in accounting at her father's company. I saw her photo, a slender figure, striking large eyes, a real beauty. Graduated from a prestigious university, smart and beautiful. Even more puzzled why she chose me. She wanted to talk to you, rather than just a blind date. Why not meet her? If you don't click, you can decline, and if you're not interested at all, you can refuse the meetup. I'll smooth things out, so don't feel pressured to say yes this time even. Our boss treats the employees like family. Hearing him say I could decline, I was sure he'd handle it gracefully. But her photo felt like somebody I knew. Plus, I was curious about why she'd want to talk to me. Seeing me ponder, the boss smiled warmly. I've known Mr. White, her father, for ages. Known Lily since she was a kid. She may be a CEO's daughter, but she's very down to earth and sweet. A genuinely lovely young lady. I already feel nervous a little, but if he says so, she sure is wonderful. I began to want to see her and have a talk with her. I found myself agreeing to the blind date. Though I'd agreed, as the day was approaching, I became more anxious. And on the day, with heavy steps, I headed to the upscale restaurant for our meeting. What should I talk about today? Can I just ask why she chose me right off the bat? No, that might be rude. As I was walking lost in thought, I suddenly heard a distressed voice of a woman. Stop it, I told you no. When I peeked around the corner into the alley ahead, there was a woman in a beautiful dress wearing a face mask being harassed by a thug. It seemed like he had been persistently bothering her. Although a part of me was scared, I couldn't just stand by and do nothing. I stepped between the thug and the woman and said, "Can't you see her making her uncomfortable? Back off." The thug glanced at me and made a loud, exaggerated tisk. Mind your own business. Apparently he didn't like my intervention and got provoked. He hurled a plastic bottle at me in a fit of rage. I managed to dodge it, feeling that this situation might escalate to something worse. I won't have him hurt her. Isn't this an assault? I'll call the cops. At the mention of the police, he seemed to get cold feet and hastily retreated. As I was about to speak with the woman, she talked to me first, her voice filled with concern. Are you okay? Didn't you get hit by that thing? She seemed genuinely worried. No, I'm fine. Are you okay? I'm good. Thank you so much for helping. You're indeed like a real-life hero. I couldn't help but blush at her words. But her indeed like a real-life hero comment made me wonder what she meant, and just as I was about to ask, she told me something I didn't expect. Is it just me overthinking, or not? It feels like a destiny. I was taken aback. Meeting someone for the first time and thinking it's destiny seemed far-fetched. But as she looked up at me, implying it was our fate, she was so beautiful and made my heart race. Look at this. As she said that, she showed me a cherished handkerchief. Oh, isn't that? I recognized it immediately. It was a handkerchief I used to own. Do you remember this? You gave me when I was in middle school. When I was still a teenager, I used to spend my summer vacations in a rural town where my grandparents lived. There used to be a younger girl living nearby, and I spent those summers hanging out with her. However, both of my grandparents passed away one after the other. Their old house was hard for my parents to maintain since they lived far away. It ended up being torn down after their passings. That meant no more summer trips to the town. The girl I used to hang out with was a bit chubby and was bullied for it in school. I sometimes comforted her and listened to her about it, so she might have felt sad to know that I was going to stop visiting. On our last day together, I gave my crying friend that handkerchief. Don't cry, we'll meet again someday. Let's promise to greet each other with a smile then. She gave me one last smile while she was wiping her tears with that handkerchief. If I remember it correctly, her name was Lily. I only saw Lily during those summer breaks, and the last time I saw her was during my high school years. It had been so long that I didn't instantly recognize her when I heard her name. Moreover, she used to be chubby, but not anymore. She'd transformed into a stunning woman. Is that you, Lily? You've grown into a pretty woman. I didn't recognize you. I'm glad that you remember me. Back in those days, you always stood up against the bullies like a cool hero for me. You were treating me with kindness and even offered me the handkerchief when I was crying. You were my first love. Ever since then, I've been hoping to see you again and thank you. I've worked hard to better myself, even went on a diet. She said it with a chuckle, and she looked so beautiful. Perhaps she had gained confidence through her efforts and personal development. How did you find out about me? You could have just said hi to me then. I work in my dad's company in the accounting department. I saw you when you visited our company. You looked just like the old days, so I recognized you right away. When I asked the name of the person to other employees, it was indeed you. She used to live in the countryside back in the day, but after her father's business took off, they moved to downtown New York City as a family. I might have met her parents once a long time ago, but I honestly don't remember. And to think that her dad is now a major business partner. It really took me by surprise. Even after we got to the restaurant, Lily and I reminisced about old times. It felt more like a reunion and a blind date. We had a great time. Lily's mother also came to the restaurant to greet with me. Apparently, Lily's mom was the one who set this up. She told me that she recognized you at the company right away. She wanted to talk to you, but couldn't approach you directly, so she asked me to arrange this event. Her mother seemed to find her daughter's feelings adorable and was smiling the whole time. Personally, I think it's a higher hurdle to chat through a matchmaking event than just approaching directly, but thanks to that, we got to talk, so I'm grateful, one way or another. From that day on, Lily and I started messaging each other and even went out to eat together. However, A month after the initial event, Lily's dad, the CEO Mr. White, stormed into my company. "Who is Brian?" Mr. White, who suddenly appeared, seemed a bit angry. "That should be me." As I stepped forward, Mr. White was looking at me from head to toe. "I have plans for my daughter to marry someone competent enough to take over the company." It seems he had recently found out about the blind date. It could be that Lily and her mom had anticipated this reaction from Mr. White and kept silent. Honestly, I wish they had discussed this within their family beforehand. We had this blind date, but Lily and I had met a long time ago. We were just talking about the old days. Even after hearing this, Mr. White still seemed upset. "I heard that you guys see each other after the event, and even went to grab dinner sometimes. I've heard that you described yourself as a jack of all trades. Such a person is not suitable for my Lily. Break it off." It seems Mr. White doesn't listen when he gets riled up. A protective father, I suppose. But as I was pondering how to handle the situation, one of my colleagues spoke up. "If it's about competence, I think Brian is the right man," in a rather humble way. That sparked reactions from other colleagues. "Brian's quick and can do anything. He's really bright. He's on a whole different level in terms of quality and speed compared to the rest of us." Hearing this, Mr. White looked puzzled. "Huh, I was told you were just a regular employee." Responding to that remark was my direct boss, the manager. "Brian only describes himself that way, but we don't see him like that. After swiftly completing his tasks, he supports others. He's not just competent, he's exceptional, and everyone relies on him." Hearing this, Mr. White seemed to calm down. Apparently, after hearing that I referred to myself in such a manner, he jumped to conclusions about my suitability for his daughter. He said he lost his cool when he heard about the unfamiliar man his daughter was meeting. I carefully explained to him why Lily wanted to meet me. She probably felt too shy to tell her dad about her first crush. Later, he listened to my colleagues talk about my daily performance and personality, and eventually came around to understanding why we had the initial blind date. This doesn't mean I'm giving my permission for marriage. Look, we're not dating or anything, and we haven't thought about marriage. Lily is beautiful, and it's always calming to talk to her. Talking about favorite foods and movies can be enjoyable, so I'm thinking I'd like to formally ask her out soon. But courting a daughter who has such an overprotective dad seems like a tough challenge. Yet, through his every word and action, I can tell he deeply cares for Lily, and that makes the father seem endearing in a way. Since then, I kept building a good friendship with Lily. Inspired by how dedicated Lily is to her work, I've become even more committed to my job. At the time of my promotion, I finally asked her to be my girlfriend. Lily's response was, "Finally, you ask me that." It seems I made her wait quite a while. After dating for about a year, tomorrow I'll be meeting Lily's parents to discuss our marriage plans. From what Lily tells me, her mom seems quite welcoming, but her dad seems a bit more challenging. The night before, I'm super nervous, and Lily chuckles seeing me like that. "Considering you can stand up to strangers and bullies, it's funny you're this nervous about meeting my parents." No, facing bullies is easier. Your dad's quite tough and full of energy. I'm sorry for being so weak." Hearing that, Lily gently shook her head. "I love you for your bravery, and I also love you when you're this nervous about seeing my parents and talking about our marriage to them." I could feel my ears turning bright red. Feeling embarrassed, I looked at Lily. She was wearing a sweet smile. Thanks to the affection she had for me all these years, we got to reconnect. I truly believe I've met someone who is in my destiny. Seeing her smile, I'm determined to get her parents' permissions for our marriage. I'm going to make Lily truly